Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video we are going to be looking over what I believe is an OP-12 competitive Belo Betty deck list. As I'm sure you know, Belo Betty actually gets support in OP-12 in the form of a couple of yellow cards that are technically made for Koala, but they kind of work in Belo Betty. And one of those cards is going to be the secret rare Kuma. And there's been a lot of talk about if Kuma fits in the deck. Is Kuma overrated? He doesn't really do, what this deck wants to do. Does he fit into the deck? And I made an entire video about Kuma in Belo Betty not too long ago, but that deck was a Belo Betty deck that was built around Kuma. So what I did was I changed out a bunch of the core of Belo Betty and put in a bunch of trigger stuff to maximize the power of the Kuma heal. But what this decklist is going to be a more competitive looking Belo Betty decklist that just runs Kuma because it's just a good card, right? So let's jump into the decklist. So what you can see off the bat here is that I haven't made much changes. What I've done with this decklist is this is my OP-11 competitive decklist, but I cut out 2 of the 7 Kosabo and my 2 Karasu blockers for 4 copies of Kuma. Of course, Kuma is such an interesting card, right? Because it now gives us access to healing, which gives us access to a more defensive playstyle, which means you don't have to run the Karasu blocker anymore, because that was basically your only way to extend turns. But realistically, it's not that good of a way to extend turns. However, healing one is a very good way to extend turns. That's why 7 cost Sabo was so played, because it has such a good healing way when you are at 0 life. However, Kuma has no restrictions whatsoever. It's an incredibly generically good card. It costs 6, so on 10 you can drop this and a 4 cost without having to worry too much about anything. So that's why we cut Sabo and Karasu. That was the logic there, right? So yeah, this is just a very normal looking competitive Belo Betty deck, but with 4 copies of Kuma in here. So we're going to run this into a bunch of the OP-12 meta decks, and we're going to see how strong this deck actually is in OP-12, and if Kuma is even necessary for the deck, and how strong it can be. Alright, we're up against Zoro. This is one of those matchups where I think Kuma will shine the most. Because basically this deck says, hey, I'm going to remove all your shit on curve by swinging into it. And Kuma just says, hey, if you want to swing into me, you're going to have to give me more resources, right? Because it heals every time it dies. But we're looking pretty good right now. I have the option of taking Stage and Ivankov, and I think it's just going to be Ivankov here. Don't necessarily think I need Stage at the moment. I think it's more important that I hit my Ivankov on curve here. He's going to do a bunch of searches, which I am not a fan of at all. Searches is like bad, because then he just free swing into Betty. We'll take the first hit, like always. It's arguably, there's an argument to not take that first swing against Zoro specifically. Simply because of... I'm gonna go Karasu. Simply because they are gonna swing at you so much. Okay, he takes the first hit. He counters. Oh, he miscountered. That's really nice for us. Yeah, I think we're still... Look at this, because this is the problem, right? He just has these shits, right? That just rests whatever the fuck he wants, and then he just swings into them so hard that you can't counter out of it. But that's where Kuma come in, where he literally says, like, oh, even if you rest this and swing into it, I will still get value. But yeah, look how he's just so good at removing my board. It's like just as bad as Lucci. But we managed to trigger out a Lindbergh here, which is really good. All these koalas aren't really doing it for me right now. Also, I think this would be a decent time to play Kuma. But I think, like, this is a ballsy move, okay? Like, maybe don't try this at home. But we're gonna do like that. I'd feel much more comfortable doing that specifically if I actually had the if I wasn't so bricked, but I think this is still fine. We're going to swing with Lindbergh first, just to make sure we can get rid of that Oshiro. And he should still take this swing, right? So there's that. And then we're going to swing 5 into this Kuina, because this gotta go. I think there's an argument to do Karasu first, because if he blocks, then we can free pop the Kuina, actually. But we're still in a good spot here. We're applying a lot of pressure, which we would have even if he didn't miss counter there, right? Like, that's the thing. It seems like he triggered here, which is weird. Wow, Paradise Waterfall, pop a 4-cost rested. Okay, that's not good for us. But we're still in a decent spot where, since he's only at 7 Dawn, he doesn't really have the resources to push here, right? Like, yes, he could go, what, 9 base and then 9 again. But that's such a ballsy play. And realistically, yeah, I actually just die to that unless this is a 2k. Because if I block, then he gets to restand with leader effect. So hopefully that's not the out he sees. Hopefully he tries to go for board instead. Because he doesn't know that I'm bricked like this, right? He doesn't know I'm sitting on 2 bricks. He's gonna go, yeah, he's gonna go board, it seems. And would I rather keep Koala or Lindbergh? I think I'd rather keep Lindbergh, right? So we're just gonna block this. Or is this restand event? Could block and counter. But then we lose the restand event. I think we're just gonna have to let it go, unfortunately. It sucks, but it is what it is. And we're gonna take this hit. And there was a 2k. Okay, so we actually just don't lose here to even to restand event. That's funny. Pretty lucky, but still funny. It is restand event. Oh wow, that's hilarious. Interesting that he would go for the 8 and 8 then instead of 9. But yeah, we've done that now. So now we've lived, and I'm pretty sure that just means he doesn't have us here, right? But we just pitched the koala, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna swing 8s because he actually we can swing 9. Yeah, we'll swing 9. 8, like this is obviously a plus 3,000 counter event. So he has a decent amount of counter here, which is a little bit worrying. But we've left ourselves with the option of healing, which puts him in that same spot as last turn, where he needs to have another restand event. He decides to counter this one. Okay, now I feel more comfortable swinging 9-11 here. So I think that's just what we're gonna do. Blocker, I swing with this because blockers don't really help in this matchup anyways. And we're gonna swing 11 here, and hopefully this connects. I feel like it is. It is. Okay, very nice. Yeah, because they do run out a decent amount of bricks. But I did also have the out there to just play the Kuma and heal, just to extend one more turn. Of course, the risk is that he has that restand event there, and then I just lose anyways, even with the heal. So that is a little bit awkward. But we did end up pulling through there. Pretty good game, I'd say. GG's. All right, we're up against Blackbeard. This is another matchup where I think Kuma could really shine. Because yes, you don't get that on play, but it's also like an 8 cost that your opponent's going to struggle to remove. And if they do remove it, boom, now you're healing, right? Oh my god, he black holed me. Holy shit, do I even play this now? Oh, he black holed me so I wouldn't Kuma pop his shit. I mean, I still think I play this, right? Gotta get that body out. A little worrying if this is dog Q. But I still do believe I play this. Finds another Lafitte and does another Lafitte search. Okay, this is worrying. Finds this Pizarro, which is an interesting one. It's kind of an aggressive build, I think. He's gonna black hole me again and swing 5. And we're gonna trigger out a Morley. Sweet. All right, now we can swing into this without having to worry about a lot of things. So we'll do that, and we'll boost. We'll bring out the Lindbergh, and we'll go 5 into Lafitte and 5 into the other Lafitte, and then we'll wrap it up with an 8 face. And now he basically needs to see some very specific cards. And he found a Teach, which is just going to be a brick in his hand until 10 Dawn, which is really good. And he ended up milled 2 Karibo, which is also really good for us. A third Lafitte, okay. A little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. Yeah, he was hitting 5 Dawn here, so no Liberation could be played, which is really good. And also, this Lafitte doesn't do that much for him because I can just pop it with Lindbergh. So unlike these other 2 Lafittes that basically defended him for a swing because I had to swing into them, I can actually pop this. The question now becomes, do I let this sit? Unkeo draw a card. Rest one of your full loaded cards. If your lead has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gets... Yeah. Well, he did black hole me, so this is obviously just going to be Kuma. I unfortunately don't have anything to cheat out off my Ivankov, which is kind of fucked. But I think we're going to swing 5 into this. And then we're going to do this thing, so we can opt this as well. Yes, he does get to draw a card, sure. But we still get a lot of value by removing his board, right? Because that could still swing into something of mine next turn. And now he's down to 1 life and no board. It's all going to depend on if this is like a Liberation or something. Funnily enough, this actually doesn't become an 8 cost on against Blackbeard because he negated my on play, which is really funny to me. But it's still a card that he's going to struggle to KO. We've drawn a little bit weirdly here, right? Like if this was just another like a 4 cost, we'd be in such a good spot here because we could have cheated it out with Ivankov. And just applying, oh wow, Rush Burgess. I didn't expect that, if I'm being honest. I mean, that will connect. Good for you, dude. So he has 7 cards in hand. 6 if he negates here, which he does. He's only going to 9 next turn. So we don't necessarily have to push here, but I think we might as well, right? We're going to also keep the Kuma in hand, because first we can cheat it out with Ivankov. And secondarily, we can pop one of his chump blockers with it if we want to. Okay, but he counters that, which means he most likely won't counter this, which means he most likely won't counter this. So that's GG. Yeah, I mean, the Morley trigger helped us a ton that game. But I think we were able to go very wide, very fast. And then Kuma not being able to be removed, basically, right, is really powerful. We got a good advantage there. GG's. All right, we're up against Smoker. This is pretty interesting. I think this is like this is a generally favored matchup, right? But with Kuma, I think Kuma can fit in here because what they do, right, is they have to grab one of this koala. I can't bottom deck 3 of them. What they do is, right, they try to out aggro you. Like that's how they win, by just like dropping a Hody on 6. Okay, never mind. This is Exodia Kinemon Smoker, which is super interesting. But I guess these are Punk Hazard tags, so maybe it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we're just going to establish an Inazuma. Swing 5. I don't dislike establishing a Koala there either, but I think Inazuma is fine. Hopefully we'll draw into a 5-cost Ivankov or a 4-cost Ivankov here, because I really need some cards. I want to keep the 6-cost Koala. I think that's one of my outs here this game. Gonna be a Sanji. Makes sense. Puts a Dawn on there to restand too. Makes sense. There's the 4-cost. That's really good for us. We'll do that. We will pitch the Lindbergh here, I think. We'll go wide like this. And we're just going to demand every 2k in the game out of this man. 1. Okay, is this just the 1, or is this going to be the 2-cost event? Nope. Alright, so he's down to 1 life. He doesn't have a Hody here because he's only at 6, right? So he's no way of killing me. Even if the Hody wouldn't have helped him here. We just applied a bunch of pressure here. He's gonna swing face. I'm just gonna take. I don't think there's a world here where he kills me, and I don't think there's a world where he lives. I don't know what this build is. I don't know about the. This is actually maybe just a 2K. This is maybe just a searchable 2K. Is that a thing? Because it's slash searchable and it's punk hazard searchable. Is this the spicy tech? Could be. Could be. But yeah, I think he's just in a spot where he loses here. I don't think there is no out here. I hope he realizes that. Oh my god, we lose. Oh my god, that's disgusting. So he rests 2 of my things with this for 4 Dawn, and then for 3 Dawn, he uses Electrical Luna to stun my entire board. Wow, maybe I shouldn't have taken all those hits, huh? Still think we're not in a bad spot. We can play the Koala down just to have a body. We can also go rushing Asuma here. I don't dislike rushing Asuma. What can I do? Because I can bring out for 2 Dawn with the Ivankov. So I'll have 5 Dawn left. So I can go 8 and 9. Okay, that's not good at all. That's nowhere near strong enough. So I'm thinking is a 6 into the Sanji. Gives it up nice. And then we're going to go Koala. We're just going to play that over here. And we're not going to use the effect. And then we're just going to hope that even if this is Hody, that we have enough counter. I could have done the math on it, but I don't think I have another out, right? Like, the other out is to push with an 8-9 swing there. But he's going to go Hody here. That's not going to be enough. So this is 7, and then this is 9, which I can't count out of the 9 if this is a brick. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the risk here of countering. But now he should just lose. Nice. Did I have him with the 8-9? I might have. He was very bricked. But yeah, it was a sick play on his end with the Luna. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to get past my... to finish me there, right? If he could have finished me here, it would have been sick. But not quite enough, and we win those. Oh, the mirror. We're going to go second. Oh, wow. Okay. Double Betty start is insane. But mirror Kuma could be pretty interesting in considering that a lot of times the game is really close and you just need to extend one more turn to wrap the game up. And just dropping a Kuma on 6 or an 8 even could be a power move. But we're going to grab Ivankov here, obviously. Then I'll grab the Kuma here, as I do believe it could be really powerful. And we are already set up for our second turn. He drops stage. It's going to be Kuma. If it is, that's worrying. 2-cost Kuma is really strong. He's going to do a search here by trashing in Asuma. Finds the EB Sabo. Okay. Gotta go 5 face. We're going to take that. No trigger. Let's see. Is this Kuma? No, it's Koala. That's fine. We're going to go Ivankov. We're going to go leader effects. Hitch them morally. Cheat out Karasu. -1. And then we're just going to swing super hard at him here. And hope that he doesn't uber trigger. He shouldn't trigger enough to be able to kill me on 5 Dawn here either way. Like, even if he triggers 3 times, like he takes all of them and triggers 3 times, I think we still live. That's a little bit annoying, but it's fine. Yeah, he just gave minus to our Belo Betty. So no swing there, but not the end of the world. And he 2Ks out of the other one. Okay. So, because now he's in a spot where he can't even kill this, right? Or like he can't swing into it, which is really good for us. It's going to be interesting to see if he just decides to go full face here and hope that he can live one more turn. Okay, it seems like he's going to go for establishing board. Hopefully this is not into 4-cost Ivankov, because if it is, we might be in trouble. Luckily, if it's in, he can't go into Inazuma because he won't be able to have a 7,000 power character. Unless he boosts weirdly, right? But so realistically, this is probably just a Karasu or Lindbergh or Morley or something like that. Karasu blocker is fine, I guess. It does mean that I won't be able to push no matter how I do things. Wow, he's gonna go face. I'm not gonna take that. I am gonna take that hit because next turn is gonna be Kuma, which is why I'm fine with taking that hit. Let's see, does he boost here? He is in a really awkward spot in general because he has to push next turn. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tease him a little tiny bit. He can have that. That's fine. And then the rest of it is gonna be pushing board or like dealing with his koala. And we're just gonna hope that he doesn't get out multiple triggers. So we'll do this, right? This. We'll cheat out another Karasu minus, and then we'll do this. Now he's at 3k. We'll hit him again. Like, he's on paper right now, not expecting me to pull any sort of lethal shenanigans, but we do have the Inazuma in the back pocket here if he does take life a little bit too aggressively. See, does he trigger here? Seems like he has a trigger that he's scared of using because he's scared he might die. Which makes me think it's not something like a Molgun trigger. It's gonna be Lindbergh, and he discards Karasu, which makes me think that he actually has a bunch of counter in his hand right now. But we're gonna try him for another 5 anyways. He takes it, which is really good because what I really wanted was to force the Karasu block to get rid of that extra character. And then we're gonna drop the Kuma, and we're gonna pitch the Lindbergh, and we're gonna heal 1. Now we have 3 life. Have decent amount of counter in hand. Yes, he can push, but I don't think he has it. He has 5 swings. I need to defend 2 of them. I think I will be able to do that. Because these are pretty small swings, right? Good. And he does only have 7 Dawn. And he doesn't have any out to pivot board or anything. He just has to go for it here. And being able to extend 1 more turn here with Kuma, like, that's what I'm saying for Lemiro, right? Is that, like, if you're able to heal 1, just to extend that little bit of extra, just taking 1, being able to take 1 more hit is very, very often the difference between winning a game or losing a game. And right now, it looks like Kuma did just win me this game, right? And we'll see here. He's thinking very hard. He's only on 7, so there's no dragon coming down. Worst case scenario, it's like an Inazuma, right? But if it's Inazuma, he's boosting weirdly. And because he doesn't have an Ivankov to cheat out the Inazuma. So we will see here what he does if he decides. He's probably doing math right now to see what will be the most Dawn efficient play. I think the most Dawn efficient is just to boost. I don't think he has anything to be scared of necessarily. Like, he could be scared of a Karasu blocker trigger. He does find a Karasu with the stage, so he might be considering extending here. But he will not be able to because I have double Inazuma in hand. He, of course, doesn't know that. So if he has, like, double blocker Karasu or something, maybe he can extend. But realistically, I don't think there's any way he can do that. So I think he's just going to have to go for it here. And we're just waiting for him to realize. Taking quite some time, but that's okay. He is in a weird spot. There's the boost. He decides to boost like this, which is completely correct. We go 7 first. Okay. I think I'm comfortable taking the 7. Yes, I definitely am, because it's most likely like 3 more 7s coming. Or like 2. There's at least 1 more 7 coming. That's really bad. I definitely needed some counter for my life, and that is not what I needed. Here is another 7 coming. We could look at 888, but I doubt it. I feel like there's 1 more 7 coming. So we're going to take 1 more hit. This Kuma at least does have a 1k counter on it. So we'll see here if how he decides to swing here. If it is 8s all around, that's going to be a little bit worse for us. But he's going to swing 1-7. We're going to counter it with these because we want to keep our Inasumas in case. It's going to be 8. Popping the Betty. Makes sense. So we need to get a 2k from life. And we didn't. We got 2 bricks from life. But maybe he doesn't feel comfortable enough pushing here. But he does, and he ruins our entire video. What a guy. Ah, that's so annoying. If these just were 1Ks or any of them were 2Ks at some point, we would have had enough there. But yeah, getting bricks from life, it happens. Really unfortunate. But I do believe that the Kuma here is still good for specifically this matchup. It was just a little bit unfortunate. Maybe I could have countered differently. I actually wouldn't. No, I couldn't have. If these weren't 2 bricks, I could have probably countered differently as well and been in a better spot. But yeah, these bricks just hurt us this game, dude. It's rough. All right, we're going to go up against the Rayleigh, which should be a pretty bad matchup for us. We're going to go second. But it should also be one of those matchups where Kuma can extend a turn where maybe it's not expected. And yeah, extending turns is obviously really good. He's going to do a search here. He's going to find armament hockey. We're just going to establish this Kuma, I think. Kuma's really good in this matchup, but obviously he didn't play anything. There's a little bit of waste of the Kuma, but I think the Kuma is going to be better than the stage at this point. Wow, that is also really good in this matchup, actually. Gonna be the Rush Jimbei. Okay. Yep. So he has armament and he has this, whatever this is. And he boosted. That's gonna be a 7k swing. That's very aggressive. We trigger again, which is very lucky. This is a 5k. I think we're not gonna do Ivan copy here. We're just gonna do Betty. I can see myself grabbing Kuma here, mainly for the purpose of the video. And then we'll go stage. Grab another Kuma. And then we'll go Koala. Then we'll boost. Then we'll go 8, pop. And then 5-5. And we'll see kind of where he's at right now. He's taking the hits. Should not be taking this one, buddy. You're not Belo Betty. You cannot just say, ooh, I got a trigger, I win. Okay, but he's taking every hit right now. He's awfully confident. I do not know what I feel about that. Because I know damn well he doesn't have... He's not fully rigged. We saw 2 of the events that are 2Ks, right? So there's that. Or maybe he's just that confident because he has only 2Ks. It's gonna be Luffy Boa. Not the biggest fan, if I'm being honest. But we do have Lindbergh, so he's basically forced to pivot board here. Maybe I should have grabbed a second Koala there instead of the Kuma. But if he decides to go face here, I think we're in a really good spot. He looks like he might keep a Dawn up for the event that is like counter 2k and then minus 1k to everything, which is going to be really good for him in this matchup. But it's not. It's buggy. That's fine. Okay, so we can do some board control next turn. He is going to pop that. Okay, so he's probably going to go for the Lindbergh then. Unfortunate, because Lindbergh is a MVP in all matchups where we have to control board. We do not need 3 Kumas. We'll grab a 2k. And then we'll boost with the Lindbergh. And we're just going to try to get some cards out of his hand here before dropping the Kuma. Okay, nice. 2k counter out of his hand. Another 2k out of his hand. Very nice. He takes that 5. How does he feel about this 6? Another 2k, baby. Let's go. What? Okay, he misclicked. What a choke. And we'll go something like this. And now he shouldn't be able to kill us next turn. Which means he has to pivot board. And he has 0 life, which means we should be able to finish him next turn no matter what. I don't think Rayleigh runs any blockers. I think that would be a little bit stupid. Since it's supposed to be an uber aggro deck. We'll see. We'll see, though. I don't think... It's like, yeah, he can play 1 rusher and then he'll have me on the ropes, but I will have 5 cards, whereas these both have counter. This is a 2. I have 3k counter in hand already. So, like, to guarantee it, you would need some crazy numbers right now. He's gonna go board. Okay. That's I think that's correct. I think he has to, but I don't, like, does he have the defense to deal with this Kuma here? Oh, he can pop the Kuma with the mole gun. Oh, that's not good. We'll see about the mole gun here. If he does pop the Kuma, that just means I'm healing 1 more, which means I'm living 1 more turn. And you still need to pop and establish a blocker, right? Or pop and counter a lot. Don't think you will be in a good spot doing. So even if you wipe me here, which it looks like you will, but even if you do, I will have 4 life. So I will be comfortable enough to just straight up swing like 16 at you next turn. This is obviously Mulligan to pop the Kuma. Yeah. And then I will heal 1 more. Okay, so I actually have a bunch of outs here. Since he still only has 3 characters, I can comfortably just swing a shit ton here. And just empty his hand. But I could also just play the Kuma down and heal 1 more. You know what? I don't dislike that. Let's do Betty. Let's do forecast, I guess. Really bad hand. I'm just gonna pitch that. This is also really bad. We'll go Karasu, I guess. And we'll go... go 5 into this buggy. And then we'll just go Kuma. Hit 1 more, and then we'll pass. Now we have 5 life. He has 2 swings. Even if he played 3 rushers here, he still would not have enough to kill me. And yeah, so he would need even more board control, which I just don't think he has it, right? And then he still needs a bunch of counter for next turn. Like he will not have enough. He just doesn't have math. Even if he leaves 4 Dawn up for the 0 cost minus thing event, I don't think he has enough. That would be a crazy play though. He had 4 copies of the 0 cost event that gives minus 1000 to everything. And he's swinging in my face here, which he has to, right? Because he can't kill me without swinging in my face. And we didn't trigger. Okay, whatever. We're still in a good spot, guys. We're still in a good spot. Let's pitch the Ivankov here. Or another Kuma. Okay, question now becomes, do we want to extend 1 more turn? I think the obvious decision here is to try and push. Like going for the 5k swing here. The 5k swing is awkward for him, I think. He does have 4 Dawn up, so maybe it is the counter everything thing. But I do believe that a 20,000 swing here will connect no matter what, right? Even if this is 4 rad beams, I think that will connect. Yeah. I do also, again, have the option to just put 4 Dawn on here, play another Kuma, and extend one more turn. But I'm pretty sure I have it here, even with the 4 active Dawn. There's one of them. There's another one of them. That's not the right one. And that's enough. Yeah, I thought so. Um, but yeah, just shit, dude. Just being able to heal and not let them have lethal at any point is so good. Like, that game was a perfect example of why Kuma actually has a place in the OP-12 meta and in the OP-12 Belo Betty, right? Um, yeah, just being able to extend against decks that try to find lethal on you, it's so good. Alright, that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let me know in the comments below if you believe that Kuma has a place in Belo Betty, or if you think it's cope, you know, if you find Kuma to be really awkward in the deck and maybe it doesn't do what it's supposed to. Maybe it's not a 4-off. I haven't gotten that far yet. I need to do more playtesting. Maybe it's a 2-off, but I do believe that it definitely has a place in the deck because it's an incredibly strong card. It extends turn. It does everything like 7-cost Sabo wanted to be, but just it's so good. It's incredibly good. So, like I said, leave a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.